Alright. So, last week's video was fairly easy to make, so I'm going to continue to do that for the time being. Um, I will be on vacation next week, so I won't be able to do a week 3 recap, which will probably be my 2-game win streak, so y'all can spare some smack talk from me for a week. I'm sure I'll probably be in the Caribbean, being swallowed up by a hurricane, so hopefully I don't get lost in the Bermuda Triangle, although Sean and Brian will actually be with me, so that'll eliminate a quarter of the league right off the bat, so I'm sure you guys are actually hoping for that. So let's get started with Game 1. The Dumpster Fire's first victim. And Dave specifically named his team to avoid the dumpster fire, but it didn't work, man. I had a pretty solid week, even though Bell hasn't really been doing anything, and I didn't get jack out of Jimmy Graham, so... but defense had a good week. Dave mostly just didn't have a very good week, but I appreciate you not starting Chris Thompson there. That definitely helped me out, so thank you, Dave. Brian top, league bottom. Brian moves to 2-0. Ed drops to 1-1. Brian, Gurley's looking pretty good, man. That's looking like a pretty good fantasy pickup for you. Your team's pretty solid all around. Ed made some questionable decisions on his roster and who to start and who to not start. Apparently Ed's powers only work on the Kingslayer, so he only beats good people. So Brian, since you were Sacco last year, Ed's just not going to take you down. That's not how that works. So Jeremy was very sad last week that I didn't mention his name once, so I'm sorry, Jeremy. Convicted Fallons moved to 2-0. Andy's Super Bowl hangover starts 0-2. Got a little bit of the yips, I think. Andy's roster is looking okay. He just didn't perform this week. Jeremy, your team's looking pretty good, man. You're very dependent on a couple of people staying healthy. I mean, I don't know if Gronk's sustainable. He's hurt all the time, but shoot, if you would have started Landry instead of Corey Coleman, you would have had probably the high score of the week. So your team's looking pretty solid, man. Down to Buffalo, 118. Derek made a blockbuster trade to improve his team drastically. He gets almost 120 points despite Jack from Jordy Nelson leaving the game early. I don't want to talk about that, by the way. That guy on Buffalo has cleaned up his roster, doing a pretty good job of it. Gabe, I only have one thing to say to your team. Slob on my cob moves to 2-0. Sean's 0-2. He's got some props. Rick, still my favorite team name of the year, despite you being my least favorite team or league owner. 2-0. Dang. I mean, your team's stacked, dude. Your team is stacked, and I don't want to talk about it more than that. Sean, you got some work to do, man. I mean, your team is some butt. It needs help. It needs help stat. So the closest game of the week, I think, it seemed close to me because I was watching it like a hawk, mostly because I was watching that Packers-Falcons game like a hawk, and it all hinged upon that. There were a couple lead changes in the last minute, but then when Ty caught that pass, that sealed it for Micah, who has now changed his name to the Buzzsaw. He's feeling himself real hard right now. I'll give Micah this. He predicted him versus Rick in the championship for this fantasy league from the beginning, and it's looking like it. It's a pretty good prediction. He also predicted David Johnson doesn't rush for 1,000 yards this year, and that's looking like the case. So I don't know, this dude's a savant or something. Nate, you made a really bad trade, and it bit you here. It bit you badly. Sorry, bud. 1-1. Well, that's it, guys. That was week 2. It was fun. I got my first win. Feeling pretty good about that. It didn't take 8 weeks into the year this year, so that's a good thing. No week 3 update, like I mentioned, but I'll be back. I'll probably do my first power rankings when I get back from vacation after we get an idea for how good everybody actually is and to get these first couple weeks out of the way. So, later, guys. Catch you next time. Peace.